Hi, I'm Frederick Reiken. Welcome to my writing studio in Western Massachusetts. This is where I wrote my last novel, anyway. I guess I would say that in describing one's writing, usually you figure out what you write about by noticing what you have written about. So when I think about the three novels I've written, it seems to me that I mostly tend to write about families and often the intergenerational legacies that exist in families. And usually what winds up happening in my novels is that some degree of mystery creeps in. You're drawing from material that you've gathered, that is real and is out there, that you've researched, that you've experienced. Fiction, you can make it up. The boon or the strange wonder of fiction is that, as Flaubert famously said, fiction is the lie that tells the truth. And so I think the big difference is that when writing nonfiction, you have to tell the truth to tell the truth. In fiction, you can make stuff up and get to a kind of truth. I think I would also say that the raw material for nonfiction, it's stuff that is just based in reality. It's a kind of building of a narrative that is ideally an accurate transcription of some aspect of the world, something that you've focused on or isolated, maybe a trend, an idea, a topic, a natural wonder. Fiction, and this is at least just my own feeling about fiction. Fiction, the raw material of fiction is more like a dream. And I say that quite literally, and I don't necessarily mean dreams that you're having while sleeping, but the ideas that fictional novels get built around come in that subconscious, strange, you don't really know where it came from kind of way. And I think it's the same for every writer, whether it's a realist like Charles Dickens or somebody who's as surreal as, say, Haruki Murakami. There's still a kind of dream that's driving the narrative, and then the fiction writer's job is to take that dream and create a structure and a kind of fictional reality for it, something that makes it seem true in the universe in which it's depicted. And I'd say that's the hardest work of the fiction writer. I was very excited. I was surprised, especially because this is my first novel. It was published in the U.S. in 1998. I was a very young little pup when that book came out, and so to have it now come out in Chinese, what is this, 14 years later, was certainly not something that I foresaw. And it definitely was exciting. I told my wife, guess what? The Odyssey is gonna come out in Chinese, and I had known that it was in the works for about. As for the second part of the question, what would be the appeal to a reader in China? The translator, or no, I guess he's the editor. Hans Chen is his name. He suggested to me that the fact that this book depicts a large family and is set in a very rural area might, in his mind, be appealing because of some nostalgic aspect or some kind of exotic American aspect. So I guess there's maybe that part. I think that my sense is that the book's theme, which I mentioned before, that the idea of grappling with an irreconcilable loss is a very universal theme. So this book has been translated into, I think, 8 or 9, 7 or 8, I can't remember how many languages, and it does, I think, manage to have appeal across languages because this theme is so universal. I think everybody can relate to the problem of a loved one disappearing, particularly when it's an absolute blank slate of a mystery, and one that, rather than, and this is a little bit of a spoiler for the book, rather than a mystery that is going to get solved, in the case of this book, it's more the case of the chronicle of a family, a large family, and the chronicling of each family member, and how each one grapples with the disappearance of this teenage boy, and the fact that it may not get solved. So it becomes more of a portrait of the characters grappling with the loss than a resolving of the loss. And I guess I would think that ultimately, whatever language this book is translated into, I think that would be the deepest appeal. It's always different depending on the language and the translator. I would say there are times when I will get lots of questions and have lots of communication with a translator, and then I know that it's usually going to be a very good translation, and then there are times that I don't hear a peep from the translator, and then I get a little nervous, and in the end I usually have to just rely on what other people say to tell me whether the translation is good or not. But the times that I've been told that the translation is not so good is it's usually the case that I have had no contact with the translator, and it's so funny